Harden makes it, but keep an eye on that because that ends up being a factor later on. Another roaming possession here. Now, Tobias ends up getting a pretty decent look at a right shoulder fade that we know he can make, but watch James Harden. So obviously, Tobias can hit this. Strus flops. Tobias ends up missing the jump shot off of the broke rhythm. But look at where Harden is at the time of the shot attempt. Harden is completely off of Asar and in the paint. So even if like after the knockdown, if Tobias wanted to just be like, oh, Strus is on his back, I'm going to step through and either engage Allen for a drop off or get a layup, Harden's there to take that away. So the Asar Thompson thing was really starting to show, and I think JB Bickerstaff made a judgment call under the circumstances. And again, if he's making plays on defense, that's great. But here we are on the ensuing possession, and he fouls James Harden on a three by just getting a little overzealous with his contest. Questionable call, yeah, sure. But the point is, the Asar Thompson thing was kind of hurting them on both ends of the floor. So then we end up going to a lineup without Asar Thompson on the floor. Now, the way that the Cavs are looking to attack this is by putting Duncan Robinson into screening action. This time, James Harden turns the corner, but Duren sees the whole thing coming. Duren's camping on it the whole time. Watch Duren time this much better, gets over, blocks it. But there's another part to this play. Watch Tobias. Tobias gets in and gets a body on Jared Allen to box him out. And then watch Duncan Robinson come over. Actually, it's a different possession I'm thinking about with Duncan. But Tobias gets in and gets a body on Jared Allen just enough to kind of keep him off the ground. And then Jalen Duren's able to clean it up and get the rebound. Now, watch how the spacing improves for the Pistons here with Asar Thompson off the floor. So we have standard 4-out spacing, right? We have both corners. Danis is getting out to the corner. Duncan's in the corner. Tobias is on the wing. James Harden is going to dig, but he's not going to outright double like he was earlier. So we get like kind of a transition brush screen. Duren makes enough contact to get Dean Wade to kind of open his stance up. So Cade's able to get downhill, gets into the lane. Again, if that's Asar Thompson, James is just straight up doubling. But because it's Tobias Harris, a reasonably credible shooter, we just get a passive little wave, just a little dig, right? On that dig, Cade elevates through it, gets Jared Allen off the ground. Again, Strus isn't helping because that's Duncan Robinson. Tyson's not helping because that's Danis Jenkins. Now look at Jalen Duren, wide open under the basket, easy dunk. On the other end of the floor, we're going to get an Evan Mobley inverted screen. Actually, I'm on a different one here. This is when they start hedging to protect Duncan Robinson. Sorry, I have 39 clips, so sometimes I get them a little confused. Okay, so we're going to see a hedge and recover to try to protect Duncan. He hedges, gets out. As a result, they're in rotation, right? Cade has to step up to Max Strus. But watch the rotation from Duncan. And this is a quality hedge. Gets out and hedges. Forces Harden to pick up his dribble. Cade recovers. Look at Duncan rotating. Tobias rotates to Jalen Tyson. Duncan, there's just a tiny bit of a little show from Duren to make sure that Dean Wade doesn't appear open. Boom, advantage gone. Now everyone's matched up again. Danis gets back onto James Harden. Jalen Tyson, now there's 8 seconds on the shot clock, has no choice but to try to make something happen. He drives it to Tobias and gets a really tough one-legged runner. So good little hedge there from Duncan. They do botch one of those later, which you guys will see. But that's what they were. That really was the story of the offensive run or the offensive possessions for Cleveland down the stretch. They were trying to attack Duncan. Okay, now this is more 4-out-1 in spacing with more of a instead of pick and roll, we're looking at a just a straight up drive. So again, Danis goes up like he's going to set a pick, but Jalen Tyson's not helping off of him because he's a shooter. Off of that, we have 4-out-1 in spacing. Duren in the dunker. We have Duncan Robinson in the right corner, Tobias Harris in the left corner. Look at all this space in the middle of the floor. How many times did we see that in the Orlando Magic series? But Cade is able to turn the corner on Strus. Once again, get Jared Allen off the ground. And this is where the bully ball element comes into the picture. Look at how Strus is kind of physically overwhelmed so that when Cade bumps him, Strus is out of the frame, literally sent below the baseline. Jared Allen has no choice but to jump, drop off pass. Now there's just this wide open space for Duren to come in there and clean it up with a dunk. This is easy basketball. This is classic bully ball, Detroit Pistons half-court offense. Here's the Mobley inverted screen that I was talking about earlier. Got a couple clips ahead of myself. So as you can see, they put Donovan Mitchell as the screener. Because Danish Jenkins on the inside position, Mobley knows that all he has to do is drive off and he's going to get a clean look. But as he comes off, we get an under and from Duren so that he's trying to recover underneath so that if Mobley tries to drive, he can meet him in here somewhere, which of course baits Evan Mobley into a pull-up three. This season, including the postseason, Evan Mobley's shooting 26% on pull-up threes. That's a shot that Detroit's going to live with. Off of that shot, watch go in the other direction. We're running out. Watch Duren. He knows Allen's off the floor. It's a one big lineup. He knows that if he can pin Evan Mobley, he's dead to rights. Look at him bully him out. Look at him push him out of the lane. Easy pass and dunk. This is something he could not do to Wendell Carter Jr. Just literally physically mauls Mobley in transition, just pushes him out of the lane. Beautiful left-handed feed from Cade. Easy dunk. That's classic Detroit Pistons bully ball basketball. This was one of those bad hedges from Duncan. So we get a ball screen and there's no hedge from Duncan. So James is able to get downhill too easily and get to the floater. Duren forces him into a tougher one, but a little bit of a botched coverage there on that one. Now we're going to get an inverted screen, or not an inverted screen. We're going to get Cade. Technically, it's inverted because he's like their point guard. But Cade's going to set a screen for Danish Jenkins. We get our spacing. We're in our classic 4-out-1 in spacing, right? Duren's drop into the dunker. Tobias in the left corner. Duncan in the right corner. Look at Dean Wade top blocking Cade. He's top blocking Cade because he doesn't want Cade to get the basketball. But what he doesn't realize is just like we saw in the last possession with Evan Mobley, if you do this, all you have to do is drive off and you're going to get open, right? So Cade ends up setting the back pick. Donovan runs into the screen, but Mobley has just given up 3 dunks to Jalen Duren. So he has no interest in stepping up. He just hangs back. As a matter of fact, as the shot goes up, look at him turn his head. Danis is rising up. He's turning his head. He's going to box out. About as easy as a pull-up jumper as Danis got all night. I thought Danis looked way more comfortable than he did in the Orlando series. Now we're going to get a straight ISO of Max Strus, or of Donovan Mitchell, excuse me. So we get the pick from Danis that gets the switch. Look at the spacing. Dunker, corner, corner, opposite wing. They're in the gaps, but not enough. Cade gets downhill. Easy little pull-up jumper over Donovan. That was really the adjustment that turned the game around for Detroit. Take Asar Thompson off the floor.